All right, we're here now. We're here now. And I'm your host, Coach Kurt, aka It Takes a Village. And allow me to introduce my co-host, Sheldon Cooney, aka Sheldon Cooney.
Wait a minute. What's not Sheldon Cooney? It's Coonzilla, the greasy one. Get that right.
Listen, I thought we not doing that, right?
No, I'm gonna be good today, but you gotta get my name
Well,
right.
well, then introduce yourself.
All right, this is Sheldon Cooney, aka Coonzilla, the greasy talker. Okay.
And we're here. Hold on. All right, so we're here with some more Western Mass finest ball players, two different era. We're gonna go from my left, or my right, to my left, and the first one, I'll let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Dennis Moulton.
Dennis, from where?
Northampton.
Tell the people, Dennis.
Northampton High School, 89.
And to the right of him,
Jason Franklin, Chicopee Comp, class of 1987, 1986 Western Mass champs, 1986 state runner-ups.
it's a pleasure. This is a pleasure to have both these guys here. They did some amazing things in the community. They're still doing some amazing things. They are hell of a ball players. And I got a lot of questions. I'm going to let my man Coonzilla start it off first this time. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's my pleasure to interview you two. Two guys that I've known for a very long time, great ball players. Right off the bat, Coonzilla don't hold punches. Jason, who is better? You or
Wait, I thought you said you was going to be respectful.
I am. That's respectful.
Huh?
I'll ask it later.
You even get a chance to tell him his accolade. But if that's what
Okay,
you want to do,
no.
if that's what you want to do, Mr. Coonzilla, ask the question.
No.
Don't let me change your mind.
If you recall, Jay, what was your best game in high school, if you can recall it? Like, it doesn't have to be points-wise or whatever, just your best all-around game.
My best all-around game was against Amherst. I think I dropped 30 points, 10 steals, and 12 rebounds. But the one game that stands out to me, two games are 1987 against Central. Both times we played them. During the regular season, they were beating everybody by 40, 50 points. We went to their home court, and they beat us by 2 or 4. That game stands out to me because we should have won that game. I still believe to this day, if my youngest brother was playing, we would have won that game. He was a freshman, but he wasn't playing. And then they beat us in the semifinals that year. But those are the games that stick out to me.
Now, who was some of the players that was on that team?
On that, my high school team?
Because you caught the L from the Migos, right?
The pigeons, you mean.
Listen, everybody's in their proper corners. That's all I'm saying. Everybody's in their proper corners, and he caught the L from the Eagles. That's what he just said. You know? That's what he just said. But let him tell who was on that team that caught that L with him.
On my team or the Eagles?
The pigeons.
Wherever your heart desires, brother.
If I told you who was on my team, you wouldn't have heard of any of them except my two brothers, Philip and Damon.
Well,
Heard of your big man.
And Ken Hamill. Ken Hamill was there. He was a problem.
Here's a problem.
Central that year, it was the first year of Central in 87. They had Sean Rogers, Maurice Blake, what's his name? Bass, Lely Bass,
Yes.
Mike Martin, Jonathan Bell. They had William Muldrow, who
Devron Vassar.
Devron was there. So they were stacked. They
were
won
stacked.
states that year. That first year in existence, they won states. They were incredible. Yeah. But again, if I had my youngest brother, I already had my sophomore who was a brother, Philip. If I had with Damon, we would have won that game. We only lost by 2 or 4, and it was me and my brother playing five guys. I honestly stand by that.
See what's happening to the Eagles?
Well, some would say that would probably be, and maybe I might dispute that or something like that. That would probably be one of the best Central teams to come out of Central.
Yes.
Some would say it would be Trav, but some would also say it was Maurice Blake. But I'm glad you mentioned that because you said not everybody would know everybody on that Chicopee team, but you got to remember. This is the Buddy Kids podcast, baby.
You're right.
This is all Western Mass. You gotta give love where love is at. You know, you the one that put on them burgundy and white shorts.
And they were tight.
Well, I'll give you some names: Matt Lunardini, Glenn Bogdanovich, and I don't even remember the rest of them. So I don't doubt you guys would.
I got a question. Do they work at Best Buy right now?
But shouts out to Chicopee Comp and what they was able to accomplish at that time against that strong Eagle team. You know,
You gotta stop that.
what do you mean? I didn't even do anything yet. I just said they were strong.
That Central team was incredible,
great.
man.
It was great.
That's one of the top teams from Western Mass
I just
ever.
don't like how he keeps saying Eagles. He's rubbing it in. I don't like that.
So, Mr. Moulton,
Yes, sir.
you know, what's one of your memorable games as well?
I'd have to say against Amherst
Can you
as well.
please speak into the mic?
I'd have to say against Amherst as well. That was one of my better games. I had 38 points, 20 rebounds. But the most memorable one was when we beat Central on our home court my junior year.
It's something.
You be nice.
He was talking about the first game.
Nope.
That's what he said. The first game. That's what you said. He
And
said
then
his
he
most
said-
memorable moment was the first game.
Do
He
you
didn't
know
say anything about Central. He didn't say. You didn't say nothing about Central. Did you?
did.
That was my most memorable, not stat wise, but most memorable game was against Central.
See how
we beat
you
them on our
doing it?
home court.
See how you doing it?
This interview might get shut quick.
When you say something about Central, you see how he,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah, I feel
that's
it.
not nice. So you got to be nice. It takes a village. You got to be nice.
Now, you guys are in 2 different years, right?
Right.
So, was the same guys playing at that time?
No, I can't even remember who was. I think the point guard for Central at that time was a gentleman named Doc.
Yeah.
And
Doc who?
Calvin Meadows.
Maurice Nichols is Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maurice Nichols. Shouts out to him.
Do I know him? Who is he? No, sir. That's my man, Doc.
Doc is out there reffing these kids and stuff like that as well. You know, good dude, real good dude as well. And just like I, presented to Mr. Franklin, who were some of the players that played for Northampton?
You probably wouldn't remember him. Eric Elliott, Mark Mantegna. Zephyr Shamora. That's I can't even remember all of them. Tell you.
Oh, you forgot one.
Who's that?
Oh,
Petey Johnson. The one who put us
Yes.
in overtime. Yes, Petey Johnson, hell of a player.
Shouts out to Petey Johnson and that Northampton team. Now, what year was that?
That was 1988.
Okay. So my other question, because I was, doing a little research on you as well. You had Coach McTagnan, right?
Yeah, Coach Joe Mantegna.
Now, what happened at that time? Because didn't Northampton let him go at some point?
They had let him go. A couple of the players, I forgot who they were, but they had a grudge against him, so they had him fired. but then he regained his position back real short.
Okay. So they did rehire him.
They did rehire him. Yeah.
And so you were still playing with him at that particular time.
correct.
Now, what type of coach was he?
He's a real good coach, tough coach. I believe he's in the Western Mass Hall of Fame. He coached there for 22 years. Yeah, hell of a coach.
And to Jay, now who's the coach for Chicopee?
Alex Spice.
Alex Spice. Now, what type of coach was he?
He was incredible. He was He was an incredible player himself in his youth, but he was real knowledgeable. He also let you play your game. He didn't really hold you back. He made you play the game the right way. But if you were athletic and could do certain things, he let you experiment. So I was lucky to have him.
Okay. All right. That's, shouts out to him. I'm going to go a little bit further. I know both of y'all played beyond your high school years. Where did you play at, Dennis?
After Northampton, I went up to Bridgeton Academy up in Maine. I was there for 1 year. Had a real good team.
Any players that we might recognize that was on that team?
Mr. Chad Haywood.
Chocolate Thunder.
Chocolate Thunder. Shouts out to Mr. Hayward, a.k.a. Hoop Topics.
Another Andre McCullough. Dietrich Williams. Yeah, some really good players up there.
Okay. And Jay, I know I did some research as well. Your travels is a little different. You want to kind of like, let that part know?
Yeah, my travel was a lot different. My first year after graduating high school, I went to Winnick, and I didn't go to play ball. I just was going to college. I was real focused on school. After that first year, I didn't really care for that school. I met Steve Athis, Coach Steve Athis.
Shouts out to him.
I met him playing in a winter league at Greenleaf. He recruited me real heavy to come to play at Stick. He was coaching at Stick with Kev McCaskill.
Kev's a great coach.
Real great. Both of them were incredible. They really changed my life a lot. Went up there. Had 2 good years up there. From there, I was being recruited by University of Hawaii, so I flew out there.
Wow.
And there was a player in Connecticut named Phil Lott who was a freshman, so it was kind of like a connection. I was thinking of signing with them. That summer, I played in the Bay State games, had a great little tournament, and I got recruited to play up in Canada. And the reason I didn't sign with Hawaii, the coach from Canada said they would pay for my master's degree. So I went up to Canada, and then that's where the story unravels.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a great story. It's a great story, but you didn't finish.
I didn't finish. I went up to Canada. While I was up there over the summertime, I found out I was having a child back home. So I left Canada to come home to take care of my daughter. So I took a year off of college. I was working. I only needed 2 more years to graduate to get my bachelor's degree. At the time, my best friend, Tolan Gladden, was going to Westfield, and he convinced me to go to Westfield.
Wow.
I went up there just to go to college, and I was playing one day up, pickup ball up in the gym. The coach saw me, Bob Lawless, talked me into playing for the team. I knew it wasn't going to be hard. We practiced maybe 2 hours a day. So I knew I could work, take care of my child, and play basketball. So that's where I ended my career playing basketball at Westfield State College.
Yeah.
And had a great time. Best decision I ever made.
Like I said, I did a lot of research, and in Westfield, you did some damage up there. I heard,
We had good teams up there. We had good coaching.
Did I say we? Did you hear me say we? I said you. I said you. Mr. Franklin. You in the middle chair. We talking about you. You did some damage up there.
To do damage, you have to have good pieces in there.
That's true.
One person can't do damage. You got to have all the right pieces. And I was lucky from high school to college. And junior college with Kevin, Steve. And then when I ended up at Westfield, I had the right pieces. So, yeah, it let my talent shine.
Yeah.
Brian Foster was a key piece to that, right?
Brian was a year before me.
Shouts out to BF. So I got.
You know what BF stand for, right? Been forgotten.
Listen, you said you wasn't gonna be disrespectful.
I'm sorry, B.
You said you wasn't gonna be disrespectful.
You're right.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna be nice.
Just do it the right way. At some point, gosh, man. So I got one more question, Mr. Franklin. I'm sorry about that because he can't control himself and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But now have you ever played this dude next to you? I ain't even gonna say his name because he's so disrespectful. Have you ever played him in any type of one-on-one series or anything like that? Have you ever did anything like that with this dude?
I'll tell you.
You had to go there, but
What? No.
tell the story, Jay.
I'm gonna tell you
Tell
the
the
story.
story. You can tell the story.
Me and Sheldon hung out for years
all the time.
after college, high school. He always had the same mouth he does now. He also always wanted to play everyone one-on-one. So one summer he's bugging me all the time, and I'm telling him, Sheldon, it's not even a competitive game if I play you. So I just got tired of it. I went and picked him up on Manila Avenue. I'll never forget. I pick him up. I bring him to Van Horn Park. So we're going to play one-on-one. I said, we're going to play, but we ain't playing for money. We're playing for sneakers. All right. So you already know what happened. I smashed him. It wasn't even competitive. He had a pair of green and black Pumas. Ugliest shoes you ever would to see, right? He had nerve to play.
Oh, they had to be ugly, right?
Yeah, so I beat him after the first game. It was probably like 11-1, who knows. I took the sneakers, tied them up, and threw them up on the wire. So they were there for years, but Van Horn's been revamped, so they're not there no more.
So you're not talking about HBO The Wire. You talk about The Wire.
That's where HBO got the concept of.
Oh, okay.
I still think I seen a shoelace out.
But it gets worse. They don't in there.
Oh,
Nah.
like-
So after I beat him, and he got excuses, you're bigger, you're better, you're stronger, everything, all the evers. Yeah, I know. He said the same thing. I can outshoot you. Now at this time, he got a pair of Timbs on that he brought.
Wow.
So I said, you can't outshoot me. Now I'm not no shooter, but I know I can outshoot him. So we play a game, of course, for the Timberlands or my sneakers. You know what happened? He loses. He give me the Timberlands. Take those. Those go up on the wire. He go back home in a pair of socks.
That's terrible.
So the white socks became brown socks because he was walking in them.
Exactly what happened.
You had to do that.
I just asked. I wanted to know. You didn't even tell me about the Timbs. If I probably would have asked about the Timbs.
Well, Jay didn't tell you a story about he met a rapper, 50 Cent.
Now, come on. He never met 50 Cent.
Jay met 50 Cent.
What I mean,
Jay, did you ever meet 50?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You
Didn't
must
meet 50 Cent, man.
50 who?
Danny Trent.
Oh,
He gave him 50. Yo, ask him. I don't know.
I see him rubbing his beard and stuff like that now. Is it?
Rest in peace to one of the greatest.
Rest in peace of Danny. I played Danny up in Greenfield. Greenfield used to have this tournament every year. It was a huge tournament. Teams from all over would come.
We was just talking about that the other day with Smitty. But go ahead.
It was incredible. So I had just got done with junior college. I was like a second team All-American. You couldn't tell me nothing. I'm really feeling myself. I go up there, and Kev McCaskill, he coached me in junior college, but he's on the other team with Danny Trent. He said, hey, this guy's pretty good. I've never heard of Danny Trent by that time. I go up there, and they got Andre King. Danny's playing point. Andre King is playing shooting guard. Big Andre King, not the son.
Yep.
Danny Trent dropped 52 on me.
Wow.
But the part is, he was coaching me while he was doing. He was the nicest guy in the world. Keep your hand up. Slide a little bit harder. Hand check me a little. And man, it was the most humiliating. But it gave me a new respect for how basketball was played. And on top of that, Andre King dropped 45 on my teammate. So
Wow.
They had 90-some points between them. We lost that game. But that was the most humbling experience I've ever had in a basketball game.
Well, I got one more question. Let me ask you this question and just be honest, right? Now, let me know if either one of them did this. Did Andre King or Danny Trent take your shoes and throw it on the wire?
That never happened.
This guy's very just.
I just feel like I asked the question.
You're so disrespectful
Listen,
right
you
now.
said ask the question.
See-
I just asked the question. Because that was a humbling experience for everybody. And I wanted to make sure that he felt okay.
Man, I'm still mad. I still got cuts on it.
But yeah, I heard that was a real tough league out there. I think the owner used to own like a bar, and then after they would go to the bar and everything else.
Exactly.
I think they had a strong over 30 league as well, and then people wanted to go and play in the over 30 league and stuff like that and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, it was good. It was back then I was sitting back there watching. You know what I mean? I would sit back there and watching you guys play and do your thing back then. So back to my man D Moulton. You know what I mean? Now we talked about Northampton. Give us your most memorable moment at the prep.
There's a lot of them. Probably playing against MCI. They had a hell of a team too. They came to our gym, and we were missing our best player, Andre McCullough, and they had Mike Boyd, Stephen Gentry. But each went D1. One went to Xavier, and I don't know. Some other one went to
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Mike Boyd. Yeah,
was tough.
yeah, they were tough, and that was a game that we basically went to that school for to play against them. You know, so. That was one of the more memorable ones. We lost by 16 because we didn't have Dre. But experience-wise, that was a great game.
But you had Mr. Haywood.
Mr. Haywood, he showed up. He showed up. He played well.
Oh, he just said
Just
you showed.
not well enough.
Oh, okay. So did he play like a lemon lime?
No, he wasn't. He didn't play like a lemon. Chad did his thing.
Such a humble dude. Do we got lemon lines for D Moulton right now? So another thing that I want to ask is practice, right? And then I want to ask some questions about, and I think Jay has a lot of input on it because he worked with a lot of kids as well on the court and stuff. And then we're gonna get into something else. But what was one of your most memorable moments in practice when y'all playing each other? Did you guys go soft, or was the practice intense? How was the practice? And you can answer either at the high school level, Westfield, wherever you think it wherever that memory goes to, and that goes for you, Dennis, too. After
You want me to answer?
yes, it's going both of y'all.
Go ahead, Dennis. I'll let you answer first.
Okay. Prep school, yeah. You asking me the practices? How were they?
Yeah.
Very intense. Because we had scouts there watching us, so everyone was trying to show out, do their thing. Intense practice. High school, intense. Our coach was very intense. He believed in you. You play how you practice, and he carried that philosophy to us. So it was always, 100% all out.
Yeah, but in my last episode, did anybody make you do the splits?
No.
There's a story there. I call it the banana split because I heard Dennis made somebody do the banana split. I believe his nickname is Jay Jones. Did you go between the legs on him and Mike Cohane?
Ooh.
That was in practice.
Oh,
Well, this is what we're talking about. We talking about the nobody can see behind them, like nobody can see behind these doors.
what happened on the move?
I was bringing the ball up, and Mike and Jay decided to try and stick me, and I went between my legs, crossed them up, and just drained a three on Mike in Alton.
Oh man!
And then Jay Jones haven't walked the same since.
Limping.
He's still limping.
Yeah, he's still limping.
That name Alton, he sound like a name where you work at you're a waiter at Country Buffet or something. Alton. Now Alton, my man though.
Right. Listen, Jay Jones was a problem too. He was a fast guy. He used to run the floor pretty quick, take quick shots and stuff like that. So he was, not saying he was a superstar, but he was a problem for some guys out there.
Not me.
Maybe.
Not me.
Well, you got listen.
And you look like Al B. Shore.
Listen.
I gotta be nice.
Listen.
Jay, my man.
Listen, you got a problem to your left right now. You know what I mean? And you haven't handled that.
Well, that's been discussed.
So, what's up with you, Jay?
Practices. Our practices at Stick with Coach Kev running them were brutal. Our team, my senior year there, which would have been my sophomore year in college, we averaged 103 points a game and only gave up 58. So to do something like that is conditioning.
So you said,
We just ran defense. He preached defense. I mean, it's just repetition, but it was so intense. There was a lot of fights, coaches fighting.
Who was on that stick team?
I'll give you the bunch of names. I can't remember from freshmen. We had Roman Thomas, Derek Brown.
From Holyoke.
From Holyoke. Roman Thomas, Derek Brown, Edwin Zavala from Commerce.
Was Danny Coles on that team?
Danny Coles didn't make that team.
Well, he couldn't make 8-10 Dunbar.
He played D1.
Yes, he did.
D1, you can't. I mean, he played D1, so I'm sure he could have made our team.
Right in, forget Morgan State. Mama Morgan's kitchen. That's where he played D1 at.
would you stop?
Okay.
He going through the list, going through the roster.
All
You
right.
over here cutting them off, and you want to talk about DC Cole, who put the business on you. But go ahead. Let him. He didn't do that?
Asking about Marie Boone.
Oh, okay.
That's what he should be worried about, not Coonzilla.
But, okay, go ahead, Jay.
We had Roman, Derek Brown, Ken Hamill, Rodney Mayfield played with us.
Oh,
okay.
My freshman year, yep. Doc played with us. Maurice Nichols played with us. Freeze played. William Muldrow played with us.
Oh.
Maurice Blake played with us briefly.
Huh?
Maurice Blake, yeah, played with us briefly. Maurice was a problem.
He was nasty.
I had JoJo Brightwell, who was
JoJo
first team
Brightwell.
All-American. He averaged 30 points, 18 rebounds. He was recruited by everybody. There's that
Y'all
group.
had a whip.
Yeah, we were tough. We were real tough. But back then, Stick was a Division I junior college.
Nice.
So now they're a Division III. So it was different back then. Recruiting nationally was easy. They had homes set up. You could live in Springfield, different homes. Then it switched. I think around the time Jim Price and them went there, it switched to Division III.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were a big team, and it was all because of Kev and Steve. Steve was just, everyone loved Steve at this. And then when you got to practice, you had to deal with Kev, and Kev was there was never a nice day. You know what I mean? He went after everyone in practice. He went after referees during games. I've seen him go after other coaches during games, other players.
The anger management.
Yeah. He was the real deal. He preached it, but he lived it too. And he was such a great player. You whatever he told you, you believe. We're going to win the game because he said it, we're going to win the game.
Wow.
So he was one of those coaches that changed your life.
Dennis left out something.
But shouts out to, it was Kevin McCaskill, correct? And Steve
That's
Athens.
Steve Athens.
Okay.
Dennis left out something. I don't know, because maybe Mr. Putnam here. But that's not my name no more. But anyway,
Somebody took that?
No, ain't nobody ever took Mr. Putnam's name. I just can't vouch for them no more.
Why?
Because they got lose 0. but
Mr. Lose in a roast?
lose 20 in a row. That's the name.
They supposed to have a good team this year.
In dinosaur years? What, did I miss something? But this is a story that I seen. I was on JV at the time. And I seen back then when I was playing, I didn't see a lot of white players out there.
Yeah, talk to the mic.
I didn't see a lot of white players playing in my time. But there was one, I seen Dennis Moulton, Mr. Moulton, playing against Taboo. And I hate to say, he was giving them the business with the capital B.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I'm mad. I'm sitting like, this is the first white dude I seen with like the swag too. Of like a brother playing. So I was like, I said, dag, man, I hope we get to the playoffs because I would love to play against that dude because he was so good.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. He did a move on Taboo that I was like, the Taboo was incredible leaper, long, you know what I'm saying? And he shot it over, and they beat Putnam pretty handily that night.
Well, what I can say is that Putnam and Northampton hasn't been the same since.
You're lying.
Oh, I forget.
5 championships in a row. Let's not start that. Let's stop.
All right, we'll stop.
I tell you this. At least we don't got no Putnam players that went and played tennis. Do I have to Travis Best, Mr. Tennis player,
Okay.
who I want badly. Trav, I'm coming for you.
Trav probably tell you get your shoes off the wire,
Cause-
then he'll play you. But that's all right, though.
See.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right, I got.
But Dennis was his stats were amazing his senior year. And I just remember being a sophomore, and I'm like, this dude was really good. And my team, I'm on JV talking junk to them, like I always talk junk. And they was mad. I said, yo, he bust y'all, you know what? And I said, if I played, I'm going to make a difference. They said, what could you do? And it came a second matchup. That was
against who?
Northampton
And
in our gym.
now,
It was a game for the ages. I got my wish, play against Mr. Moulton. Unbelievable. They didn't have a scouting report on me at all because I played JV. I scored like 32, 33 against their JV team. And their coach, was it Moy?
Donnie Moy, yeah.
Donnie Moy told Mr. Mitchell and Butler, yo, y'all just trying to win games. Y'all got this kid playing JV. So we played them. It's tight all of it. They have a 2-point lead with probably 4 seconds left in the first half. And I shot it from half court off the glass.
Oh yeah.
And I could see someone, not Dennis, because Dennis still dangerous. But the rest of his team, when I hit the shot, you could see their faces drop. And I said, I got him. And I knew I had their little guard Mentagna.
Oh yeah.
And I had a great second half as a sophomore.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how me and Dennis started hanging. But we met on that. We ended up winning by 3 or 4, but it was a classic battle. And we triple teamed Dennis. Because I told him, I said, y'all bigs ain't gonna be able to guard him one-on-one. Let's triple team him. I ain't worried about Mentag. Now let him shoot their point guard. And that's what happened. His other players couldn't score. But we had to triple team him. But it was if you recall, Dennis, it was a Western Mass quarterfinal.
Yeah, it was.
game.
It was for the quarterfinals. Right?
Yeah.
So-
it was a great game.
what was the talk at halftime with them guys?
It was ugly. Coach Strada's down there. How are you gonna let this guy come out and sophomore and do this, do that? It was ugly, but they went on. Yeah, you had a great game that game. So
Yeah.
Hey.
Then me and Dennis started hanging. It was the start of a great friendship.
Yeah. And you said Coach Moy?
Coach Donnie Moy, he was the junior varsity coach that he's referring to. Yeah, Mantegna was our varsity coach. Yeah.
Okay. I know that Moy ended up leaving there, and then I believe he started coaching at Jackson State University. Because it was Donald, they're Holyoke dudes. Yeah. Donald Moy and Danny Moy. And they were tough players around in the Western Mass. And people say we don't got talent. We got a lot of talent. So here's a question for you guys, right? I seen that, sometimes you guys go out and watch these players play from all different eras and stuff like that. So my question to you, is it the same, or is the level the same? Like, is that era equivalent to the era you're in right now? Or it's just that, I don't know.
The high school era?
Yeah. Let's say high school.
The high school era, there's talent. I'll tell you what the problem is in Springfield. The talent's the same. You're seeing guys go, and I know a lot of us older guys, we were tougher. They go back and remember stuff that wasn't there, right? Oh, we were tougher. And in my head, I hear it, and I'm like, it's not true. The problem with Springfield now, when I played, there was 4, maybe 5 high schools, right? So there's 4 or 5. You had to be the best of the best to make that team. So, of course, you're a little bit of a dog because you're playing still 150,000 people live in Springfield. Now you're only competing at 5. Let me finish. Now there's 20 high schools?
Yeah.
In Springfield. So now you have 15 more high schools times 12 players. That's 180 more high school players that couldn't have played back when we played. So now you're seeing a watered down.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Okay. Say it again one more time. Just want
So-
they couldn't do what?
What I said is there was 5 high schools when we played. You had to be the best in that high school. All the same amount of students went there. Now there's 20. That's 15 more teams times 12 players. That's 180 extra players that couldn't have played back then. When you're fighting for your spot, you're hungrier. So I think you're seeing a watered down product, and I won't name those schools because I don't follow the game like that. But I will tell you, if there's 180 extra players, of course some aren't going to be up to par when we played, right? So it's just like if Chicopee opened 5 more schools, you're going to see all the Chicopee teams. Everyone's going to go to where they can start. So that's what happens in Springfield. The best who know they're the best go to Central or Putnam. We all know that. And then the other ones, I can start at Savage. I can start at whatever the other schools are. I don't even know. But that's what's happening. But to say, is there any difference? I think the game has changed, of course. It better have changed in 30 years. Right now, it's a jump shooters game, right?
It's soft.
I don't know if it's soft.
It's soft.
I don't know if it's soft. I think the difference is there's more soft players. But because there's a lot more players.
Yeah, Jay, you just said, I don't know if it's soft, but then you said it's more soft players. Because now, the players are playing the game.
If the best players in this era could play in our era easily, very easily. Okay. It would be Springfield is still producing Division I and II players. They have more access to videos, social media, training tips. We didn't have that growing up. There was no coaches training us. There was no academies. There was no higher expectations.
We had to strive.
We had to work hard. But the still best of the best could play with. What you're seeing is there's more players, so of course you're going to get more soft players. You know what schools, I can't play at Savage, but I'm going to go to Renaissance. I'll start there, or I'll get playing time.
And I want to go to Bay State. Oh wait,
go to Bay State. Honestly, I didn't even know there were Division 4 or 5 schools.
Count?
No, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
No, right? Because I don't talk about
shots
that.
Fired.
It's not shots fired. It's the truth. Back then, if you didn't play Division 1 when we played, we didn't talk about Division 2. We didn't talk about Holyoke Catholic. Because we
I know, man.
That's the truth.
Okay, all right. Because we had this This just went left a little bit.
No, it didn't go left.
It did. It went left.
Because you asked, could the player or the eras different? No, the best players now could play back then. It wouldn't even. They're probably better now. To be honest, better trained. Their ball handling is better than when we played. Their athleticism is just as good. They're doing dunks. Listen, they're doing dunks we've never even dreamed of.
I'm gonna say this. Hold on. I'm gonna say this.
Jay,
Trav,
this is unbelievable.
Kellogg, Trav Kellogg, Damon, Todd Robinson, y'all all have better handle than all these. Trav definitely have more handle than these kids.
You're talking an outlier.
Wait, and not only that, the leapers we had, like no disrespect to Ty Nichols or whatever, their highest jumper wasn't even a good ball player like that. Nashawn. We had Yates who can jump, Desi Jackson, Ant Boyd, Ahmad Sharif, those dudes played over the rim. These players of today do not play over the rim. And that if Ty Nichols could play over the rim, I think he would have a shot at the league. But it's like the players back then in our era, Jay, I think were way more athletic.
No.
There's nobody that jumps high as
So
that.
if that's the case, then every 20 years, the era is better and better. We can agree. The players in the 40s are not like the players in the 60s. The 80s, you compare, when we played 90s, if we played the guys in the 1940s or 50s, what would we have done to them?
Well, I don't know.
Well, yes, you do, because you're saying nothing. You don't think you've seen how they play in the 40s and 50s. Kuzi drives and dribbling. The game has changed so much.
So do you think when you play with Blake and them, you could put a team in this generation with Derek Boyd, Ty Nichols, they would beat y'all with you, Blake, and it wouldn't even be close.
I don't know. I don't know who would win, but I know there's players from this era that could play with us. 100% sure. What we're arguing is the amount of players. There's players that play for. I don't want to name no school, but they're going there so they can play. That's the truth of it. Basketball.
So that's bad, though.
I agree with you, but it doesn't change. You give me the best players from this era.
I heard they're about to make a new high school, Mercy Hospital High School. They got
I'll give you an example. You named all those players. You got Jalen Brantley, Jamal Warren, Joe Ragland. You know what I mean?
Jamal Warren's different era.
No, not much. I mean, he's still not our era.
No.
I think
we talking about of today's.
There's no difference. The problem is there's too many high schools.
No, but if you this year is
one time
terrible,
if you give
Jay.
just 5 high schools and said the best 12 times 5 is what I don't know 7, whatever it is, you're gonna get a really good product.
Yeah.
But you give 20 of them and say, all right, find the school that fits best for you. They're going to go,
Like-
so-and-so goes here, John goes there, eat them up. I can't play there. I'm going to go. Commerce has whoever they got. I'll go to wherever.
That Putnam team was that Putnam team was great.
What Putnam team?
What Putnam team?
Oh, the one with John Smiley and James Smiley?
Don't you dare ever. But they did make it to Civic Center. So
They did. Listen.
So they weren't.
Everybody played at the Civic Center that year. That's where it was all hauled at.
They said, damn, dudes that drank wine at Winchester Square played at Civic Center back then. But but the Putnam team was that was a very far as cohesiveness that I think that was
they were special.
That was the best team that I've seen, not talent wise, obviously not, but the best team that I've seen play together. They seem like they like playing together. Like when Trav's team played, they were like individual stars. Like you just knew it. Trav, Edgar, and
but the thing was, all the good players knew Trav went to Central. Everyone wanted to play with Trav. So all the great 12 players went
to Central.
Now, what if Desi went to Commerce? Edgar went to Cathedral.
Boyd went with us.
So imagine that changes the product.
That changes.
It changes.
Everything.
So what we're arguing is how you're spreading out a product. But if you only have 5 teams right now, there's going to be a lot of hurt basketball players. They're not playing. They're going to be playing.
Bay State is great.
Huh?
Bay State is great. Are they?
I don't. What division is that? What division is that?
I think division.
We're gonna come back to that.
I think division 30.
I don't know. I don't follow that. I don't follow WNBA, and I don't follow anything Division 1 or less.
It's sort of like we go from say you eat at Texas Roadhouse, then you go to Denny's or something for dinner. That's
okay.
That's how
right.
division.
Listen,
so my question to you, I know I'm not supposed to. What's the difference between our players and theirs? You can't say it's toughness. You can't quantify that. Say someone's tougher. How do you measure that? Because I think we're thinking back when we were tough. I remember some of these players.
Well,
so what's the difference?
Let me. I don't want to go a different route, but listen. No, hold on. I want to go a different route, but I know for a fact if I go, I'm going to pull it in here because I don't usually pull it in here because it's not basketball related, right? And you deal with the arts, right? You train, right? And there's players there's fighters that come in there, right? That you see all the potentials in the world, but they just don't pan out. Why is that? There is no what's the name? Greg Barnett. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference, and so that same missing piece is what they're missing as far as the high school level. That's what I see. You know what I mean?
What they're missing at the high school level, besides the too many teams, is there's no coaches that are focusing on. Everyone's taking all the kids to make their own AAU team. So now you got a 500 AAU. There's too much friend. There's not that one coach like a Kevin Freeman who gives back. Now, if I have my kid, I'm going to Kevin Freeman, right? He proved he could do it. There's other. I'm just naming Kevin because he's the name that sticks out.
No, shouts out to Kev.
You know what I mean? You need to go with a coach who can teach you at a young age a system. That's why Central football is so great right now.
Yeah.
They're starting at the SYF, and they're all funneling all the great players to Central. That's the truth. What's happening right now, and they know that system. So when they get Central, now you're paying off.
I'm tired of Central's name. Mr. Moulton, what do you think about the town level? Is it Lemon Lime City? Is it Lemon Lime City?
I can't honestly.
You can't stomach it.
No, it's not lemon lime. I feel what Jay's saying is absolutely correct. It's watered down. You go from 5 high schools to 12 high schools. Yeah.
I think
talent-wise, the best players around here right now could definitely play in our.
Got good talent, right? But when you talk about greats, these kids of today won't go down in history as Trav, Vinny Del Negro, Mark Hall, Rick Wallace. So that's why I said, the players of then, way more legendary status.
You're picking 2 guys who made the NBA. So, of course, in 2 you make the NBA.
Well, Mark Hall
So anyone,
Rick Wallace.
we just don't give credit to the youth. Jay Brantley
I do.
went to Maryland.
I do.
That should be celebrated, right?
It should be.
Think Hassan Ward was at VCU. I don't know where he's at right now.
Me either.
Right? No, but it's not his fault. But he went to VCU. Top, whatever, 20 program.
Taylor Martin's at
Martin. So these guys, we're just in the moment. When we look back on it, you're gonna be like, that was a great, like we do now. Like Maurice Blake, he didn't go nowhere, right?
Only
he was a great. So whatever the situation. So Hassan, I don't know where Hassan is, but that situation happened.
So Hassan Ward was better than Maurice Blake?
No one said that.
No.
Two different positions.
Even though he played D1, listen. I believe if the players that I played with, right? I'm saying a lot of them players like Boyd, even Dez, all them dudes, right? When I played 6 dudes of my era, me and Dennis Moulton era, went D1. 6. I played against 6 Division I starting point guards. There's none of that now. You got Jalen Brantley, but that's it.
It's a huge gap, and the reason why I brought up the MAA is because what I'm noticing is that they're not getting in the gym to go get it.
Like you do.
You know what I mean? And so when they're not getting in the gym to go get it, meaning that we had to ride our bikes, we had to walk, we had to go through everything. We didn't miss practice because if you miss practice, there was going to be consequences of it and everything else.
Different.
And matter of fact, I brought up in the beginning of this, I had brought up Coach McTegna, right? And so in that thing that I read about him is that they didn't like him because he played the people that actually work hard and that earn their spot. And then the parents got into it, and they felt that it wasn't right for these kids not to play as much minute, but they didn't earn it. Right. And so these kids look like they're just waiting for it to be given to them. And as soon as you give them a pat on their back, the work stops. And so when I look at it, and maybe I'm wrong for looking at it this way, but when I look at it, and this is just not here, it's in Connecticut as well, just all of this whole area, they're not putting in the effort like they should be. And you're trying to get them to a certain, and you see the potential, you see the greatness, you see the how can I say, you see the Jay Franklin in them, you see the Desi Jackson in them, you see the Ant Boy, you see all this talent and potential in them, but they're not digging into that dirt to go get it.
You see Dennis Moulton in them. Exactly. He's in the studio too. Coonzilla.
Who?
Coonzilla. The gorilla.
I think that's a different conversation, though. Where they do, that's what I was saying. When there's only 5 teams, you got. Of course, you're going to work. I remember I used to work all summer with my teammates, working on cuts. Who works on cuts now? No one does that. I used to believe I was going to get better. So it's more access. If I know there's 20 teams, I just got to be smart to who I pick. That's all that's happening. But what I'm saying is
the screens.
I used to do all that stuff.
You used to set screens for me all the time.
I used to really work that kind of game.
And I made somebody quit, but I ain't going to say who. Jay told me, keep shooting. You better keep shooting. He set like 20 picks for me. I hit like 20 in a row. On been forgotten.
Listen.
That's all I'm going to say. And I came back from 10-1.
This guy. Not my man BF. We're going to be doing an interview with BF at some point too, because he's got a lot of information.
That'll be the shortest interview y'all ever do.
Because he quit.
What's I got to talk about?
He quit like, you know what? He quit like, I'm a mover, right? And we got guys that like, I made that man quit. This is what happened. It's like me picking up a dresser with a guy that's first day, and it's so heavy, and I'm lifting, and they just quit. Because he couldn't do it to me. And if I'm lying, Jay was there. If I'm lying about that game, I'll tell the truth. He was up 10-1, and he was talking greasy. Then I looked at Jay. Jay said, "Come on, Coon." I hit like 10 in a row on him. I'm not lying. This is something that Jay was right there. It was the most embarrassing. Yo, if I got somebody 10-1, no way they're coming back. That's embarrassing. That's terrible. Right?
Well, he told me to tell you.
This ain't about me.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And it was a gift.
And I made him and his counterpart Corey quit. Both of them. Jay will tell you, we was killing them. It was Boyd, they had Brian Foster, and Corey and somebody else, and it was me, Jay. I forgot who else we might have had Josh. Yeah, Josh Presley. And much shout out to the another 48. You know where that comes from. My man Josh. But,
Shout out for Josh Presley.
Those CHD games was like, Jay used to always pick me up on Sunday. Those games was like,
That was invite only. That was James Hector's league.
Yo.
Like that little thing.
it was like the competition down there, it was so intense. Like you couldn't just bring like a C game. Well, some certain person did, and he got exposed to it. But no, you had to. Jay will tell you, right, Jay? You had to have some sort of skill level. Brian Foster had skill level to play there, but it didn't pan out well because he called Kunzil out.
Calm down.
I know.
Conzo.
I gotta be nice.
Calm down.
But
I got another question though.
We got Dennis Moulton.
Yeah,
we
We got D Mo, and I got another.
D Moulton got something on his chest. I figure. But I tell you this, D Moulton. No, we gotta recognize D because a lot of people don't know D. Like us old timers, which I'm old now. No, I'm young. I'm 35. But a lot of people don't know D was a bad man. Like I'm being real about it, man. I seen him kill dudes. I seen y'all game when y'all beat that Central team.
Oh, you were there?
At the Civic Center. I think it was at the Civic.
No, I was at home, Northampton.
At home, at Northampton.
Yeah.
Then I think y'all made the championship that year. Or y'all made the semifinals.
Yeah.
Who beat y'all, Jay?
Yeah, Chicopee Comp.
Wait a minute.
But I don't think you were on
I was on it to my brother.
But if he was on there, D, would he had caught some of it? No.
Well, let me. Can I ask him the question? I want to ask him the question.
That's something honest of me to ask.
It's a nice question, but
It is. I'm not being disrespectful.
no, it's not disrespectful. But I gotta.
Would D have scored 40?
Listen, I just want to give him
Okay.
I just want to give him a nice question,
Okay.
right? Because I think we're going a little bit to the right and stuff like that, and I think
It's always the right.
It's always the right with this show.
But
Why not to the left? You notice not to his side. It's only to our side, the right, Jay.
now, listen, I'm gonna ask you like really nicely, right? Very, very nicely, right? Now, you played against Phil Franklin, right? Phil and Damon, right? What would you have did if that other Franklin was on that court? Which
That was the nice.
Not being nice.
reference.
That was like the way to say somebody, you're stupid, but you're still a good guy. or like you're trying to hook your boy up with a girl, and the girl says, "Well, what does he look like?" Well, he got money. It takes a village. You said that very subtle.
I'm just trying to keep it peaceful.
A dig at the same time.
It wasn't too much of a dig.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now, how much did you have on Phil and Damon?
I can't remember back then. I mean, I was averaging about 23, 24 a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been a lot different if he was playing.
Yeah. Well, was a special point guard. He was all time. What they call it for? Is it mass? Was it? I don't want to pull up the notes.
Assist record?
It was the assist record.
At
His
Westfield?
GPA was 3.1.
3.8.
Well, they have it down at 3.1.
Who's counting? Magna cum laude. No big deal.
And my grade point average was 1.2. And I played at Putnam, and they cheated, and they let me play. I had 5 Fs. No, sir. Let me stop. Putnam going to hate me.
But no, the other thing that I wanted to ask, because when you guys was playing, right? When you were playing, what was your record? How far did you guys end up going?
You asking me?
You.
Oh, me? My senior year, that's the year that Putnam, you beat us in the semis.
The quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals. And
Yeah.
then the year before that, we made it to the
Y'all went-
Civic Center to play against
Semifinals.
Comp. Yeah, yeah.
That's when they had P.D. Johnson, too.
Okay.
I got a question on that too.
Go ahead, Coon.
All right. Who was better, you or Petey Johnson? I like that. See. If somebody asks me,
Shots fired.
shots fired. Yo, if somebody asks me, who's better, me or Danny Coles? Yo, listen. That's like comparing AI to Poopy.
But listen, I do owe a lot to Petey for getting my game up there because he would always pick me up, take me to UMass, play against the UMass players. He was from New York. He was
Don't
from
be
Brooklyn,
nice. Don't
and
be
he would
nice.
take me over there in the summers and we'd
I
play
get it.
out
You
there.
feel bad that you said
No,
you was
I
better.
don't. No, it is what it is. That's
It
what
is.
he did. He
And I
didn't
felt
help
you
my
was
game.
better too. I felt you was better too.
And his shoes are still at the wire.
There he goes.
I'm just saying.
Well,
That was a nice way of putting it. I said it nice. Nice.
I'm gonna say something nice too. I heard Jeremy Moore beat you.
That's a lie. And I got the tape to prove it.
You heard that, You heard that, Jeremy Moore?
None of the more,
I tell you
none of
what,
the Moors could beat me. Put it that way.
They call me SWC, not SWV. Sheldon Wire Coon.
So let me move on a little bit. I want to ask this question because it bothers me a little bit. It bothers me. And he just said that, all the players in there, you stretch them out. He did all the mathematics. I can't even count how he did it. But he said it's watered down. That means everybody plays everywhere, correct? Okay. Now, as I look forward, right, as I think about him, I think it was like a couple episodes. I gave my man Dion Bird his shots out for his Division 5 and being one of the best coaches around. And it kind of like bothers some people and stuff like that.
What goodness.
And I see it, but I look at things and I look at it different, right?
They had players like 31-31 in that division.
They did. But
Like,
remember, he just said it don't matter. It's all watered down. So everything counts, right?
It's this.
Now this is my opinion, right? This is my opinion, and I'm about to take it somewhere, right? And I could go one way, but I'm not going to go that way because I think people's feelings would get hurt.
So what are you holding back?
Yeah, don't hold back.
Oh.
Well, okay, I won't hold back.
Yeah.
All right. So you played Division 3, correct? College football, college basketball for Westfield. Now, I believe, even though that you played Division 3 as a point guard,
Yep.
that you're better, and it hurts me to say it, than my man Edgar Padilla as a
I
point
agree.
guard.
As a point guard, I definitely agree.
And when you put divisions on there, right, and we're looking at division, he wasn't the same type of point guard. They had to have Travieso out there playing the point with them. When DK was out there, he was the point guard. Mm-hmm. When Padilla was out there, it was him and Travieso, the point guard. What I'm saying to you is, the division really didn't matter.
No.
Right? It's the IQ of the player. And my thing is that you have more IQ than Mr. Padilla.
I agree.
Padilla's a great defensive player. He, played at the highest level. He could do these things, but I believe that you could do it as well.
He didn't play at the highest level. Stop it.
So
What? Division 1.
Trav did.
Huh?
Trav did.
Oh.
NBA.
Okay. All right.
with Edgar is incredible.
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 He was incredible.
That being
player,
said,
man.
when my sophomore year at Stick, when UMass called me, I hung up on them when they were recruiting me.
Wow.
No, that's a true story. BU recruited. You name any on the over here, they recruited me. I was going back. I'm from California. I moved here my freshman year in high school, so I was only here a couple of years. I was going back where my other family was, my brothers.
So they picked up a guy from Stick?
Huh?
They picked up a guy from Stick?
When we played, we were number 9 in the nation. We had
Hold on.
how everyone goes prep school.
You don't cut him off.
No, I'm gonna tell you. Back then, nowadays everyone goes prep school. Back then, everyone went junior college to go on. I wasn't even going to play basketball. I was done with basketball after high school. I didn't care about basketball.
Yeah, but it was stick.
Stick was a nationally ranked team.
But it was stick.
Yeah, now it does. You got to be from somewhere.
Listen, Dion, I'm fighting for you. But it was stick.
No, I'll go back to so Division 5. Honestly, this is not a knock at any. I didn't even know. Did you know there was a Division 5? Honestly, so I'll ask you, Cooney, if you played Division 5, how many would you have averaged? So we'll leave that there.
Hold on. So now he can say right now you can say that Cooney would have had like 50 in that Division 5.
Yeah, probably.
No.
Now, don't get me wrong. Division 5 are the good players, of course. But would those good players be those same players if they went to Putnam when Ty was there and John?
No.
Or went to Central and I don't, Hassan was Ward. I don't really know a lot of the kids' names.
But Jay, you just said that though. That's what we had just said.
That what?
We said, didn't we just not say that earlier in the conversation that we said that in this era where you guys were at compared to that era where you guys were at, they couldn't play at this level. And then you just switch around and say that, hey.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the best players of this era could easily have played with our era.
Yeah.
And they're probably doing things we weren't doing in our era. I know I see some things, I'm like, damn. I say that. I'm like,
you know what? You know what I see? This is what I see in this era. I don't mean to cut nobody off, but I see these favorite teams losing to lesser teams. You didn't see that much when you had like Trav and them playing on one team like your brother. They weren't losing to, like, when Damon and them had their team, you know, they had Trav, Kellogg and them. When they was playing these teams around here, it wasn't close, but me and you coached one team that lost to Lemon Lime City. Mm-hmm. See, that's the difference. When Trav and our era played, like even you, Dennis, even when I played, Clyde, when you played, we didn't overlook just because we thought we was better than. No, we showed them teams that we were superior to certain teams and certain players. Where today's era, if they feel like they're better, they don't give. And that's where, like, it was so much talent back then, Jay. Like, if you really,
you think more talent than there is now?
Way more.
Well,
way more.
The reason why I brought it up that way, right? The reason why I'm bringing it up,
and I'm gonna come back around to your point.
Way
too.
more. Okay,
it's because of the coaches.
Say you put a team of.
I agree with that.
Okay, listen. Say you even put, like, I wasn't considered a top guard, but say you put like me, Cisco. Let's say like we're a big man. We go with Jim Price. We go with, like, let me see. I add my man, even though he was nasty, Dennis Moulton. We would beat these teams because we're not even the top tier guys.
But you really can't say that because it's too hard. The generations have changed so much.
Okay, so let's just say this. Let's say this right now.
Cooney, you gotta let him speak.
Okay.
Let him speak.
But I just want to say.
I disagree with most. I see it all the time. Guys argue what generation's better. Could even LeBron played the 90? Oh, he couldn't have played 6'8", 200 feet. He couldn't have played 90. It's too physical.
He can't play in the 2000s.
Right. So you see that argument all the time. But then you think when I was in high school, I would have played pro in the 50s. And we all said it, right? I would have played Bob Cousy's dribble with one hand. So the game has changed. Wait. I'm gonna get back to his point first. So as far as the divisions. It's true. Players, Division 5, Division 2, I don't consider. There's good players in Division 2.
And we play Division 3.
Division 3, whatever. But Division 5, I can't consider it because the level of competition. I know you didn't go to. If you were one of the best players in the city, you would have went to Central or Putnam. And don't say, I went to a charter. No, if you could have played, you would have played. You would have shined. You would have won a state title, Division 1. There's no reason. But now when you get to college, as far as Padilla and them, I'm not gonna say who's better than me and Padilla. I think he's great.
Yeah,
but those guys I hung phones up on. I wasn't trying to play around here. That's why I went. My last two schools were Hawaii and USC, and I just happened to end up at Canada. But when you get to college, you don't have it. You get recruited, but they don't tell you when you go to Division 2 and 3, especially Division 3. They're recruiting 25 other players. Now you get there. Now you got to try out for those 12 spots. And it's the best player from every high school in Massachusetts. They didn't recruit some guy off the bench. They recruited the best guard who wasn't going Division 2 or 1. So now you're competing against some of the best players. When I was at Westfield, I played a guy that started at St. John's, I forget his name, and another guy who played at Villanova. Why? Because stuff happens. Stuff happens at Division I, so you end up at Division III. So the only division between Division I and III in college is size, athleticism. Yeah, bigger, stronger for athleticism. It's not they're better shooters. It's not they're better dribblers. They're all the same, just the speed and stuff.
So do you think a team of John, let's say Derek Boyd, Ty Nichols, your son, and like Hassan Ward could beat Desi, Trav, Kellogg, Edgar, and Damon?
I think this.
It wouldn't be close. They beat them by 50.
I wouldn't say that because I saw that Putnam team take that team from Arizona. I forget the names in the hoop hall, and I saw them compete against a guy who was supposed to be the center. You remember what I'm talking about?
Marvin
Well,
Sagley.
so I saw those guys
Exactly.
compete. Now, what would happen if you take that 80? What was that Trav's year? 90 or that great team? Probably the greatest high school team ever. They say in Massachusetts, right? And I go with that. But you take that Putnam team. That's a competitor. It's not no 50-point. I don't believe it is.
I'm not saying it's
That's
a.
not 50. I say 20, 25.
Because John and them did, and Ty did something special no one's ever done. So then I could say, then why didn't they just do the same thing they did? And you're going to say competition was bad. No, I'm going to say no, it wasn't. It looks like.
Wait a minute. I'm going to say this.
I think
Trav would have gave all them 40. Easy.
Trav was
different.
No,
Trav
I'm just
was
saying
different.
something. And then you got Edgar. Then you got Fred Smith.
All great players.
Then
All
you
great
got
players.
Desi's blocking.
Great. He was
how
great.
How could they get inside on Dez?
But you had Ty Nichols. You have John, who's
That's
defensive.
not
Hold up. You got Ty Malone, who was incredible.
Okay.
You have Edom, who plays his role.
Eat him up would have got ate up by Edgar.
You're saying that now because we're looking back, but you're talking about two of the greatest teams ever out of Springfield. So you can't say one's going to blow someone out by 50.
Well, I'm a Beaver, but I got to go with that Central team.
And I'm sure most people would, but to say
I'll
it
go
wouldn't be
with
a
the Blake team.
no, that team wouldn't have done nothing. But to say it's not competitive, they let a Chicopee comp team of 2 Franklins and 3 nobodies
But they won
almost beat.
states.
Yeah, they definitely did. They were a great team, but you're not comparing. I take that Putnam team to beat that 87 team. That's what I would take, honestly.
Wow.
Honestly, because you got Ty Nichols and Maurice. Now that's a matchup.
Maurice Blake going to shoot his eye out.
That's a matchup, and then the rest have to fall into place. You got Freeze.
But you got to remember that.
Sean Rogers.
But you got guys that match up. So there's no difference in the level of basketball, in my opinion. They're really not.
But at that time, when you think about high school, and if you go back, Ty Nichols wasn't playing at that Ty Nichols at that time.
Right. Ty has improved leaps and bounds. But he was,
after
how many titles did they win in a row? State titles.
They won 2.
Two or 3, right? And they played in the third and they lost in the third.
Yeah.
So that lets me know he's still at a high level because he was the star of the team.
And what team was this?
No. But so I mean you're talking.
Beavers.
It's so hard to compare eras, but that Central team is the greatest team I've ever seen.
I don't like doing that because those are my boys, the Putnam Beavers.
Yeah, they're incredible.
And they did something that I didn't see anybody do. Not the tennis player, not Mark Clueless. Did he win Western Mass title? Not Duran for Gotzendanner. I mean, that Putnam team was amazing, Jay.
They were incredible. They're going to be doing things like in 20 years from now. They're going to be like, you remember that? See, they're going to forget about that Central team. As we get older and we fade away, this next generation is going to be like, best team I've ever seen was that Putnam team.
Yeah.
And they're going to be right because I guarantee you there was a team in the 60s or 70s or 80s from Commerce or one of them that were incredible, but we've forgotten about them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change how great they were.
They were incredible.
Yeah,
like,
so...
D, that team, I don't think you seen them play, that Putnam team. Did you, D? But I used to tell Mr. It Takes a Village, well, I know we gonna win. You know you special when somebody's saying, I know we gonna win, I just don't know by how much. So when that's the same effect that Central had. You knew they was gonna beat every team, and they had some close games around. They lost one Western Mass game that year to the kid Jeremy Snyder from East Long Meadow. Yeah. See, Coonzilla know his facts. Dale showed up at halftime, after halftime.
So,
see, you quick when I talk about them pigeons, he quick to chant. You hear? He don't want to talk about the pigeons.
Listen, you've been praising them all through the show, so it doesn't matter. You can say that if you want to.
I'm praising that Central team, that one Central team, because their talent level was ridiculous, man. They had basically, because Desi played D1 at Morgan State, they had 3 Division I players and a close Division I player in Fred Smith. So, and they had Goodell. So
I thought Fred played D1. No,
he played D2.
Yeah, Fred could have played anywhere.
But Fred could have played D1, and then Ant Boyd could have played D1. Yo, and then you got Jim. Yo, they were just loaded. They were good. Like, they had size, athleticism.
Their second team would have won Western Mass probably that year. That's how good they were.
No, I disagree.
What
you call it? They only lost to them by 4. And Trav had to pull Kellogg and them almost beat them
Kellogg
that year.
They were
so you got to think about that. That second unit ain't beating a Kellogg team.
You get Ant Boyd, Jim Price, they're going to compete with anybody.
They're going to compete with anybody. Yeah. Ant Boyd going to compete with the late, great Jay Griffin, too.
Oh, shit.
Oh, why are you laughing? No. Is there something I don't know?
I don't know.
No. Is it something I don't know about?
I don't know.
Okay. I have to talk to Ant Boyd when we interview him. Because I don't
listen.
I don't know something. I'm laughing because y'all laughing, but
no, I'm only laughing because listen, I see them go real up high and then
grab that noggin.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, Jay was like, and then as soon as you said, didn't something happen? He went, I don't know. This dude went to his inner voice. But we'll leave it alone. But now, I think the only reason why I brought up the high school for the coaches is because when we look at all these coaches that's coaching at this level of Division I level, right? Some of them don't even need to be coaching at the Division I level. So I kind of like just put them all in one bag and look at how they're coaching. I get what you're saying, but then when you talk about these kids are all over the place and they're all spread out, and everybody's picking from the same pot, then really divisions don't really matter unless you're going to Central.
Well, that's what's happening now.
Or you know what?
Everyone's being funneled.
Central or let me give one more other team that's good, that's got a good coach that I kind of like respect. Pope Francis with Justin D'Alessio. He is a good coach.
Great player.
You Eagles just leave Putnam coach out. I mean, I ain't gonna say about this Putnam coach.
We're talking about right now.
Oh yeah. Well,
who coaches Putnam now? Who coaches Putnam?
Lou, I don't know.
Oh, Lou. That's right. He is over there.
I guess.
But like you said, we were talking off scene a little bit, and they got a fall ball league. I was trying to make sure that some of these college coaches that's local need to be there at the high expectation. Yeah. They have a fall ball league at the South End where Putnam has some good players. I also went out to check out East Hartford Fall Ball League. They got Glastonbury got 4 guys out there, and Masters has bought their prep school out there, and they're getting started. They got a 6'9" dude. So this area's got some good players around in this area that college need to check out.
We gotta give my man D. Moulton some rep.
You know, me and D played together on the Bay State team, Bay State games.
How did that go?
Terrible.
It was terrible.
Wait a minute.
We had a good team, but
the chemistry wasn't there?
Coaching wasn't there.
Coaching, yeah.
Who coached y'all? Come on.
I don't even know.
Pizzanella. We had a good team. We had me, him, Shaft Lewis, JoJo Brightwell, Damon.
You said a certain name. SL. Leave that out.
Who did I say?
Leave
I
that
don't
out.
know.
SL.
Oh.
Leave that out. That boy, Lemon Lime City. Leave that out.
You want me to tell you a story what happened in the games?
No.
So you remember that?
Go ahead, man.
We get beat by 50 or 60 at this
What?
point. At halftime, probably. There's no lie. We really were getting beat like that. And,
Did y'all have it on blue and yellow jersey?
no blue and yellow. The coach at halftime was like, listen, we got to start working the ball down low to our big men, Shaft and JoJo. Shaft said like this, I swear, during halftime, he's like, nah, coach, they too big down there. They hitting hard. Keep it outside.
and this dude like 600.
You talking about we was harder back then.
Well, that's one exception.
He really said that.
But I know this, man. I just look at it back then. The crowds were so much different. Do you agree about that? It was sellout crowds waiting to see these games. Yeah. Like high school basketball. Now, even, and this was a shame, as successful as Putnam was, when me and you went to the state game, they barely had fans following them. But when Central, when they were going to state games, man, like a whole city, even them Civic Center games were so packed. Some of them were sellouts. Even some of these gyms, you don't get that no more.
Well, you're talking about Trav was a rock star. There's never been an athlete like Travis since.
Well, he was a tennis player too.
I don't know, but he was a rock. It was a different vibe with Trav. He was charismatic and he had a following. Mm-hmm. And it was. I remember before games he would sign autographs for the fans on the other team. And now, what hurt me the most when I started going to the games when Tolan was coaching with Kamari, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I would go to his game. He would invite me, and I would see no parents there. And I asked Kamari, I said, where are all the parents? He said, parents? I got to pick half these kids up and bring them to the game and drop them off.
I remember. Me and you would go, and all you heard was my voice.
Yeah, you was doing that. That's when you started that lemon lime stuff. Yeah.
I said, get in the bottle. Get in the Corona bottle, you lemon lime.
So that's what I noticed about the crowds more than the fans. It's the parents. It kind of... it was different times, I guess.
Like as good as that Putnam team was, I went to mostly all their games when they were winning. And the crowds were like dead. I was just like, wow, as good as they are, Springfield has lost their fan support. Like back then, we had a lot of fan support. I remember all my games were packed. And that's what I like, man, seeing them. Because I think kids play better. If they would have seen our crowds, they would have probably been like, yo, this is something. So when you see a crowd of like 30 people, if I see that, I'm like, this is like pickup. So that's a big that's a big difference maker too.
Yeah.
The crowds. That's my opinion about that, right? Like crowds.
I used to hate going to Northampton. Their crowd.
Oh, they were nuts. They damn near throw tomatoes at me and shit.
I remember that about them.
They run up on your bus, all sorts of shit.
So, with that being said, I got one question. Actually, I got two questions. The first question, we can't go through the whole 7 because we don't kill a lot of time. So, it's a difficult question. All right. Who do you choose, if you had a choice, between your prep school coach and your high school coach? Which one was the most impact for you?
My high school coach, definitely. Coach Joe Mantegna, yeah. Well, because I spent a lot more time with him. Prep school was only 1 year. Okay. And our coach up at the prep, he was basically our age. He was only 4 years older than us. So the respect level was kind of different. When you have an older gentleman who's been coaching for 18 years versus a guy just coming into it, who has all this talent, and really he was kind of in over his head. But I'd say, our high school coach had more